Hello everyone, welcome to the new topic of investment account. We'll be taking up the new chapter of investment account today. Now, all of you can give the headings in your notebook. The name of the chapter is itself investment account. Okay. In BCom section, it is covered in HFA Unit 4. This chapter is covered in Unit 4 of HFA Higher Financial Accounting. Now, understand this. As a business, you may be purchasing many investments and you may be buying and selling the investments again and again also, particularly if you are in finance sector like banking or non-banking financial company. In that particular situation, these sectors or companies buy and sell the investments again and again. So if you are employed in such businesses, you are required to prepare investment account to find out for each and every type of debenture, bonds, shares which you purchase, finally, did the company earn overall profit or loss, including the profit on sale of securities, including the interests or the dividends received on those investments. So the basic objective of making this investment account is to know the overall position of the investments made by any finance or non-banking finance company. Now, investment account is a special ledger account. I repeat, investment account is a special ledger account. Normally, ledger account has which columns? Four columns: date, particulars, journal folio, and amount. But this is a special ledger account, so it is made with the columns as you can see on the screen: date, particulars, nominal value, interest, cost, or capital. Same columns on the credit side: date, particulars, nominal value, interest, cost, or capital. Now, why do I call it as a special ledger account? Because this single ledger account will give you all the informations of investment. Its nominal value means face value also. Cost or capital means at what price did you buy or sell it also. Even interest on investment is included in this account itself. So no need to find or make separate ledger account for interest also. Even interest is included in this ledger account itself. It's a combination of investment account as well as interest account. That's why I call it as a special ledger account. It's not a general ledger, it's not a normal ledger, but a special ledger account. Okay, so all of you first make this format of investment account: date, particulars, nominal value, interest, cost, or capital. And this investment account will serve the purpose of investment account as well as interest account. Pause the video and make this format. Thereafter, we will understand the journal entries, and from journal entries how to do the posting. We will not be passing the journal entries. We'll directly be doing the posting in investment account because not a single question is asked based on journal. So directly we have to make the ledger accounts only. And then after we make the ledger account, I'll give you a shortcut or a technique also to remember how to make this investment account directly without passing a journal entry when we solve the question. Pause the video and make this format. I hope everyone would have done the format. Now understand this. Investments always have debit balance. So if any opening balance of investments is there, you would be writing it on the debit side to balance brought down. Okay. In nominal value column, you'll record the face value. In interest column, you'll record the outstanding interest. And in cost or capital column, you'll record the cost of that investments. So as a note, you can write down. Okay, several notes will have to be written. As a note, you can write down: in opening balance, okay, in case of opening balance, outstanding interest will be shown in interest column. Rest of the things are already mentioned. That is, in nominal value we'll write the face value, and in cost or capital we'll write the cost of investments. Now, if I ask you, what entry would you pass when you purchase the investments? The entry will be investment comes in, debit what comes in, investment account debit, and we generally pay by check. So bank is the giver, credit the giver to bank account. I repeat, what journal entry would be passed if we purchase the investments? Investment account debit to bank account. So in investment account debit means debit side will write to bank account, and this entry will be passed at the time of purchase of investments. Okay, to bank account will pass the entry at the time of purchase of investments. Now, what amounts will we record in nominal value, interest and cost or capital column? We understand it with the help of three terms. Okay, first we understand one term, that is interest element. All of you must be writing these things in your notebook. First we understand the concept of what is interest element. Okay, what is interest element? Interest element is the interest. All of you write down. Interest element is the interest from the last due date of interest, till the date of purchase or sale. Till the date of purchase or sale means generally the interest becomes due on securities on fixed days during the year. So you may have debentures where the interest becomes due on 31st March only once in a year. Or if you remember, in the last lecture itself we solved that question of own debentures wherein the interest was due two times in a year, half yearly, 31st March and 30th September. Okay, interest may be paid by the companies quarterly also, half yearly also, yearly also. So this interest element is the interest from the last due date of interest till the date of purchase or sale. For example, suppose the company pays interest two times in a year on 31st March and 30th September. I repeat, company pays interest two times in a year, that is 31st March and 30th September. Now, suppose you buy or sell a security on 1st of May. Okay, you buy or sell a security on 1st of May. Then before 1st May, which date of interest will come? 31st March or 30th September? Obviously, 31st March will come before 1st of May. Means, before you buy the security, last interest the company paid on 31st March. Now you are buying the security on 1st of May. So interest element will be calculated from 31st March to 1st May, means only for 1 month, that is of April. In between 31st March and 1st May, only 1 month comes, that is 1st of April. Let us say, suppose you buy or sell the security on 1st of December. Now if I ask you, before 1st December, when the interest would have become due? Before 1st December, it would have become due on 30th September. So 30th September to 1st December means October and November, 2 months. 2 months interest will be calculated. This is called interest element. Okay, so once again look at it. What is interest element? Interest element is the interest from the last due date of interest. So if you buy or sell the security on 1st May, what is the last due date of interest? 31st March. Till the date of purchase or sale. So 31st March to the date of purchase or sale, 1st May, 1 month. If you buy or sell the security, for example, on 1st December, then what is the last date of interest? 30th September. So 30th September till the date of purchase or sale, 1st December, 2 months. So this 1 month or 2 months interest would be interest element. Okay. One more term we understand. Come interest price. Okay, cum, come, not Hindi wala come. Less here it's come interest price. Come interest price. Okay, come interest price is the price. Come interest price is the price which includes interest element. Come interest price is the price which includes interest element. Now what does this mean? So if you are buying the security on 1st of May, the company is going to pay the interest directly on 30th September, only after 31st March. Company is not concerned with when you buy and sell the securities again and again in the market. If you buy and sell the securities again and again in the market 100 times in a year, company will not pay interest to 100 different people at different point of time during the year. Company will pay the interest only 2 times in a year, 31st March and 30th September, and to whosoever has the debenture or the bonds or the securities on that particular day. So company will pay interest only 2 times in a year. If 31st March, whosoever is having the debentures or securities on 31st March, all those people will get the interest from the company on that. Whosoever are having the securities on 30th September, all those people will get the interest on 30th September. Now what about the people who are buying and selling in between? See, if you are buying the debentures on 1st May, means after purchasing it on 30th September, you are going to have the securities. So when you receive the interest on 30th September, you will receive for all 6 months. So is it not an injustice to the seller who doesn't get interest for this 1 month by selling you the security on 1st May? I repeat, you buy the security on 1st May. Company is not going to pay the interest on 1st May. Company already paid the interest on 31st March. Means now company will directly pay the interest on 30th September only. So since you have the securities on 30th September, you will get all 6 months interest on 30th September. Whosoever is having the security on 30th September. You are at a profit, but who is at a loss? The seller is at a loss because he sacrifices 1 month interest in that case. So here what the seller will do, he will recover from you this 1 month's interest because you are already going to earn 6 months interest on 30th September. You paid him 1 month's interest. So your benefit will only be the 5 months interest, which actually should be your benefit because you purchased on 1st May. Because you purchased on 1st May, you are entitled to receive May, June, July, August, September, 5 months interest only. I repeat, you purchased on 1st May. So you are entitled to receive May, June, July, August, September, 5 months interest only. But company will pay you 6 months interest. You are entitled to get 5 months interest. So you will pay 1 month interest to the seller when you buy those securities because in future you are going to get 6 months interest from the company. So come interest price means the seller will sell you the securities including that 1 month's interest, which is called come interest price. That's why I mentioned what is come interest price. Come interest price is the price which includes interest element. And what is that interest element? From the last due date till the date of purchase or sale. So come interest price will be the price including this 1 month's interest. So neither seller is at a loss nor buyer is at a loss. Seller recovers 1 month interest from the buyer. Buyer will get all 6 months interest from the company on due date. Okay, so come interest price is the price which includes interest element. Same way there is one more term, X interest price. Now what is X interest price? As the name suggests, write down X interest price is the price which excludes, X interest price is the price which excludes interest element. Means it does not include interest element. Okay, so These three terms I discussed with you. Now we understand the relevance again. If you buy the investment, what is the journal entry? Investment comes in debit. What comes in investment account debit? Bank is the giver, credit the giver to bank account. Obviously, in nominal value, we are going to record the face value. In interest column, you will record interest element. And in cost or capital column, you'll always record X interest price. In interest column, you'll record interest element, and in cost or capital column, you'll always record X interest price. So write it down as the note further. Okay. Here we have already written in opening balance, outstanding interest will be recorded in the interest column. Now throughout the ledger account, in nominal value column, throughout the ledger account, okay, in nominal value column, face value will be shown. In nominal value column, face value will be shown. Then in interest column, interest element will be recorded. Okay, in interest column, interest element will be recorded. And in capital or cost column, in capital or cost column, X interest price will be recorded. Okay, which amount will be recorded in cost or capital column? X interest price will be recorded. So keep these things in mind. In nominal value, we will always record face value. In interest column, we'll always record interest element. And in cost or capital column, we'll always record X interest price. Okay, these things must be remembered by you. So once again, investment comes in debit. What comes in investment account debit? Bank is the giver, credit the giver to bank account. In nominal value, we'll record face value. In interest column, we'll record interest element, and in cost or capital column, we'll record X interest price. Okay. Now, on the due dates of interest, like I said to you, the interest may become due once in a year or twice in a year. If company pays interest once in a year, 31st March, or twice in a year, 30th September or 31st March, or even quarterly, then 4 times in a year. So whenever the interest becomes due, the entry would be what? You are going to receive the interest on the due date. So what entry would you pass? In your account, the money is received. So bank is the receiver, debit the receiver, bank account debit. Interest is an income, credit all incomes and gains to interest account. Now, as I said to you, when we make this investment account, we don't make interest account separately. This investment account itself serves the purpose of investment account as well as interest account. I told you it's a special ledger account. As you can see, we have made the column of interest also. So here itself, we will record the interest received also. What entry is to be passed when the investment receives interest on the due date? Bank is the receiver, debit the receiver, bank account debit, interest is an income, credit all incomes and gains to interest account. To interest account means in this interest column, on credit side, we will record the opposite account by bank account. This is for interest received on due date. Okay, this entry is to be passed for interest received on due date. Only in interest column the amount will be recorded. No amount will come in capital column. No amount will come in nominal value column. On the due date of interest, whatever interest is received will come in investment account on credit side with the particulars by bank account, and amount will come only in the column of interest. Now, one last transaction remaining, sale of investments. When we sell the investment, what entry is to be passed? Now, when we sell the investments, we receive the money. So bank is the receiver, debit the receiver, bank account debit, investment goes out, credit what goes out to investment account. I repeat, bank account debit to investment account. To investment account means in investment account will record on credit side opposite account by bank account. This entry is to be passed for sale of investments. Nominal value, face value, interest column, interest element, cost or capital column, X interest price. Same 3 points. Okay. Nominal value column we will record the face value. Interest column we will record the interest element, and capital or cost column we will record the X interest price. At the time of purchase also and at the time of sale also same details are to be followed. Now if you sell the investments, either you will sell it at profit or you will sell it at loss. I repeat, if you sell the investments, either you will sell it at profit or you will sell it at loss. If you sell it at profit, then investment will have credit balance. Profit means it will have credit balance. So to close it, you will reverse and debit it. Investment account debit. And you transfer that profit to profit and loss account. So to profit and loss account. I repeat, if you sell investments at profit, then investments account will have credit balance. To close it, you will reverse and debit it, investments account debit, and you transfer that profit to profit and loss account. So to profit and loss account. Now investment account debit. So in investment account, we will write on debit side the opposite account to profit and loss account. In bracket, this entry is for profit, and here the amount will come only in the column of cost or capital. Here the amount will come only in the column of cost or capital. Is everyone clear with that? And vice versa. If you sell the investments at loss, then investment account will have debit balance. To close it, we will reverse and credit. We will credit investment account and we will debit profit and loss account. So entry will become profit and loss account debit to investment account. I repeat. If you sell investment at a loss, then what entry will you pass for the loss? Selling at loss means investments will have debit balance. So to close it, we will reverse and credit investment account, and profit and loss account we will debit. So profit and loss account debit to investment account. To investment account means in investment account we will write on credit side by profit and loss account in bracket loss. This amount will also come only in the column of capital. Okay, so profit or loss will be recorded only in the cost or capital column. Now, after this, we will do the balancing. Now, how to do the balancing? That is also important. Understand it. First, you do the balancing of nominal value and cost column. I repeat, first you do the balancing of nominal value and cost column. Okay, first you'll be doing the balancing of which columns? First, you will be doing the balancing of nominal value and cost column. Now, nominal value, whatever amount remains on the credit side, that would be written as by balance carried down. Okay. In fact, nominal value only you do the balancing first. So nominal value we will do the balancing first. There's a first step. Now on this nominal value, whatever you have done the balancing, you'll calculate interest again. So in this interest column again outstanding interest will be shown. Okay. So 8th point you all can write exactly like opening balance. Just like this opening balance point where outstanding interest is shown in interest column, same way in closing balance also. Exactly same way in closing balance column also. Outstanding interest is shown in interest column. Okay, both in opening balance as well as in closing balance, outstanding interest is shown in interest column. Now, that is the second thing you will be doing. Now third thing, you do the balancing of cost column. Here when you do the balancing of cost or capital column, you record one thing. You remember one thing, that investments are always valued at cost price or market price, whichever is less. Okay, investments are always valued at cost price or market price, whichever is less. So write down that ninth point as the note. While doing the balancing of cost or capital column, while doing the balancing of cost or capital column, investments are to be recorded at, okay, all of you must be writing it, investments are to be recorded at cost price or market price, whichever is less. So how do you find the cost price? Directly from the investment account, whatever balancing figure remaining over here is always the cost price only. Okay, whatever balancing figure remaining over here is always the cost price only. That means what is cost price? Total of debit minus total of credit. Okay, what is cost price here? Total of debit minus total of credit. From the investment account, what we get, total of debit minus total of credit, is your cost price. You have to compare it with the market price. Okay, from the investment account, what we get, total of debit minus total of credit, is actually the cost price. You have to compare it with the market price and you have to record whichever is less. Now if cost price is less, no problem, directly record that. But if market price is less, then that loss will also come on credit side, like we have shown by P&L account. I repeat, if cost price is less, then already the balancing figure is representing the cost only. So not a problem, the investment account gets tallied, squared up. But if market price is less, then the loss will further be recorded on the credit side under the banner of buy, profit and loss account. Okay, so if market price is less, then we will be recording the investment at cost or market price, whichever is less means we'll be recording at market price. Then loss will again be shown on the credit side of investment account. Okay, if market price is less, then loss will again be shown on the credit side of investment account. All these points must be remembered and gone through properly before we start with the practical question in the next lecture, right? So once again, all of you keep this in mind. First step, we will do the balancing of nominal value column. Debit side total will always be more. So debit side total, you write on both the sides, balancing figure remaining on credit side, by balance carried down. Second step, you count this interest. What does this interest represent here? Outstanding interest. Okay, so in the interest column, we will show the outstanding interest, and interest is always calculated on face value. There's one more point you can write down as a note. Interest will always be calculated on face value. Okay, at any point of time, interest will always be calculated on face value or nominal value, you can say. Interest will always be calculated on face value, that is the nominal value. So outstanding interest will be shown here. And third step, we will be recording the balancing figure of capital column. And in that you have to remember that investments are recorded at cost price or market price, whichever is less. Okay, investments are always recorded at cost price or market price, whichever is less. So if cost price is less, no problem, because the balancing figure represents cost price only, total of debit minus total of credit. But if market price is less, then further the loss will again be shown on the credit side of investment account. Throughout the ledger account, interest will always be calculated on face value. And last step, interest balancing will be done. So in interest, credit side will always be more. In case of interest, credit side will always be more. So this would be the fourth step of balancing. In case of interest, credit side will always be more because it's an income for the business. And the balancing figure remaining on debit side would be transferred to profit and loss account. Okay, balancing figure remaining on debit side would be transferred to profit and loss account. That is a closing entry of interest. Okay, interest at the end of the year is closed and transferred to P&L account. So for that we have been passing the entry interest account debit to close and reverse it, and we transfer it to profit and loss account. So first step we will do the balancing in nominal value column. Second step we will write outstanding interest and we'll calculate that on the face value. Third step we will write closing balance of cost or capital column at cost price or market price, whichever is less. If cost price is less, directly record that. If market price is less, further loss will also come on the credit side. Then fourth step, you do the balancing of interest column and interest will be transferred to profit and loss account. With pencil, do these numbering. Which numberings with pencil you all will be doing it? Very first, once again I am explaining it, so with pencil you all can also write it down. Very first we will be doing the balancing of nominal value column simply by balance carried down. Second step we will record outstanding interest in interest column, which will be calculated on nominal value. Okay, you will calculate this interest on nominal value. Third step we will record the balance in cost or capital column following the rule investment is always recorded at cost price or market price, whichever is less. Now here if cost price is less, no problem, no worries. But if market price is less, then further the loss will also be recorded on credit side. And fourth step, do the balancing of interest column, and whatever balance remains in interest column will be transferred to profit and loss account. So these steps of balancing are to be followed. And one last note what you have to remember is, when we sell the investments, then we follow weighted average method of finding the cost of those investments. Means, suppose when we talk about investment account and a banking company or a finance company, they buy and sell the investments again and again. They trade on investments. Trading, how you do buy and sell again and again. They trade on investments means they buy that and sell that again and again. So suppose you purchase some investments on 1st April, some investments on 1st May, some on 1st June, and then you sell part of those investments on 1st July. 1st April you purchase, 1st May you purchase, 1st June you purchase. Part of that you sell on 1st July. Now the problem is on 1st July what you are selling, what is the cost of those investments? Because cost of investment would be different on 1st April, May as well as June. So we will take weighted average of all these. Means weighted average of April plus May plus June investment will be taken into consideration for finding the profit or loss when you sell the investments some portion in the month of July. So this important point you have to remember, when investments are sold, then weighted average cost will be considered for finding profit or loss. Weighted average cost will be considered for finding profit or loss. Now, how do you find this weighted average cost? Weighted average cost at that point of time would be equal to, okay, weighted average cost at that point of time will be equal to total of debit side cost or capital column minus total of, until that point of time, okay, until that stage of selling the securities, total of debit side minus total of credit side, but which column? Cost or capital column, last column. This column, cost or capital column, last column. total of debit minus total of credit divided by number of securities, means debentures, bonds, etc. on debit side minus number of securities on credit side. Okay, number of securities on debit side minus number of securities on credit side multiplied by number of securities or investments sold. This formula will be used. What formula? Total of debit side cost or capital column minus total of credit side cost or capital column minus number of securities on debit side minus number of securities on credit side into number of securities sold. You will be more clear once we take with the practical questions. But remember these 11 notes. Look at the 11 notes once again. In opening balance, outstanding interest will always be shown in the interest column. What do you mean by interest element in this chapter? It is the interest from the last due date of interest till the date of purchase or sale. Cum interest price is the price which includes interest element. Ex interest price is the price which excludes interest element. In nominal value column, every time you'll record the face value. In interest column, every time you'll record the interest element. In capital or cost column, you'll always record X interest price. When we come to closing balance, again outstanding interest will be shown in interest column. Now while doing the balancing, we discuss the steps. First step, you'll do the balancing of nominal value column. Second step, you'll count interest in closing balance, which will be again calculated on nominal value as outstanding interest. Third step, when you do the balancing in cost or capital column, investments are to be recorded at cost price or market price, whichever is less. Now cost price is simply total of debit side minus total of credit side. So if cost price is less, no problem at all, recorded as it is. But if market price is less, then loss will again be shown on the credit side of investment account. Interest throughout the ledger account will be calculated on face value. And when investments are sold, then to find profit or loss, weighted average cost will be considered. And how do you find that weighted average cost? Total of debit side capital column minus credit side capital column upon number of securities debit side minus credit side into number of securities sold. Now for investment account, you all can remember one shortcut, and you all can see here only two things appear on debit side, purchase and profit. So you all can remember it as PP. I repeat, you all can remember it as PP. PP means purchase and profit will come on debit side. Everything else will come on credit side. So what shortcut can you all remember for investments purpose? PP. What does this PP stand for? Purchase and profit will be recorded on debit side. Rest of all the things will be recorded on credit side. Is every one of you clear with that? So keep this shortcut in mind. Purchase comes in the transaction debit side. Now no need to imagine the journal entries. Follow this shortcut. Purchase comes in the investment debit side. Profit comes in the investment debit side. And other than that, interest received, sale, loss, everything else on credit side. Only two things will come on debit side. PP. Purchase. Okay, all of you note down this shortcut. And profit. Everything else we will record on the credit side. So with this lecture, you all must be clear how does the investment account appear, and important notes, which column, what amount is to be recorded, what are the various terms involved over here. Now next lecture we will start with the practical question. That will be all for this lecture. Go through the notes and investment account properly before you visit the next lecture and start solving the practical questions. Bye everyone. Take care. See you in the next lecture.